Our first speaker today represents the student body, so naturally will address us from the student perspective. Benjamin Marsh is the valedictorian of the class of 2014, majoring in advertising and carrying a 3.99 grade point average. We've got to figure out what class he didn't get that perfect 4-point in. In addition to his academic honors, he was a member of the American Advertising Federation and the Renew Campus Church. He's also been a vital member of our Northwood University marketing team as a student marketer and student worker. Following graduation, he will start an internship with an advertising agency in New York City. Please welcome Mr. Benjamin Marsh.
Well, my friends, we made it. Four years ago, we came to college not really knowing a whole lot about anything. We knew that we wanted to have some fun and learn some stuff so that we can become somebody. But then we got started here at Northwood, and we soon found out that we're actually preparing to become future leaders of a global free enterprise society. And we thought, whoa, man, what does that even mean, first of all? And second of all, I don't know about being a leader of free enterprise. I'm just trying to become somebody significant. So now here we are, 4 years later. We know a lot more about free enterprise, of course, but it still kind of seems like we're in that same boat. We're about to walk across the stage, go out to dinner, and then I guess figure out how to become somebody. Now, I think that's actually what we're supposed to have been figuring out for the past 4 years here, but I'm sure we're all familiar with that little word that begins with pro and ends in procrastination. So, in the true spirit of college, we've got 5 or 6 minutes. Let's figure it out right now. Let's figure out how we can become somebody significant. So first, let's take a look at how absolutely insignificant we actually are. Well, that's humbling. I don't think any amount of Excel credit can make you feel important after looking at something like that. But moving on, now let's take a look at how incredibly significant we are. So we're somewhere in between so insignificant that the universe wouldn't blink an eye if we suddenly ceased to exist, and so incredibly significant that billions of small particles come together to form just one of our fingernails. And we've got 10 of them, plus 10 toenails. We must be the most significant thing ever to have existed. So which is it? Well, let's look at some facts. We're here, we're alive, we can think, move, breathe, and speak. That in itself is nothing short of amazing. I would say that's pretty significant. Now, there might be some skeptics out there, some naysayers, that would say, yeah, that's really great, but there are 7 billion other people who can say the exact same thing. This is true, but does that really make our existence any less significant? See, I think we place too much emphasis on numbers and statistics. We look at 1 out of 7 billion, and because that number is so small that it makes our iPhone calculators display that weird symbol, that we automatically label it insignificant. But I think that's the wrong way to go about it. 1 out of 7 billion, that tiny little number, is just a number. And numbers serve to measure things that are quantifiable. But how much of our lives actually are quantifiable? Think about our relationships and our interactions with other people. Think about our thoughts and our ideas, our feelings and emotions. Those are things you can't just slap a number on. And they make up a huge part of our lives. Those are the things that matter. So before we move on, let's just all agree that 1 out of 7 billion is not a good enough excuse for being insignificant. So now that being insignificant is not an option, the question becomes, how do we live significantly? Well, the good news is that it really doesn't take that much effort at all. And I'll explain. Think about yourself having an interaction with another person, even a seemingly insignificant interaction. When that person leaves, you will have affected their thoughts, which then influence their other thoughts, which influence their words and their actions. Now this person goes on to affect the people that they interact with. And this goes on all around us, even if we don't realize it. People that overhear what we say or observe from a distance what we do, they too are affected by us. And this goes on and on forever and ever. It never stops. Now again, some naysayers might start to analyze and quantify the significance of these interactions, saying that they're just too tiny to matter. But we already threw out numbers and fractions and quantities, so just put that thought aside for a second. Everything that we say and everything that we do has an effect on the giant chain reaction of events that makes up our existence. Now think about that. That's a pretty hefty responsibility, and it's on our shoulders. Whether we like it or not, our lives are significant. So now the question becomes, how can I take this significance that I have and make it something positive? Because God knows there have been some pretty significant people who have done some significantly negative things. Now, I think we make this way more complicated than it has to be. In reality, it's quite simple. Much simpler, in fact, than deciphering that huge final exam schedule that we have, or formatting dozens of APA citations day after day. In reality, it is quite simple. You see, all of the books out there, all of the 12-step programs about living positively and being somebody, they can all boil down to one simple guideline. Put yourself second. Don't live out of selfish ambition, but in humility, consider others greater than yourself. Because pride is poison, but humility brings life, honor, and blessing, and not just to ourselves, but to everybody else around us. And I want to add something to that. Along with putting yourself second, live for something greater than yourself. Have faith. Now I know, naysayers, I hear you. In fact, I probably just picked up a few more, but before you roll your eyes so hard that it causes permanent damage, just try this. Pick up a Bible and read what it says. Not what other people say that it says, but really read it for yourself. And then see what happens when you go and you live it out. Because if you do, I can guarantee you, you will live a life of extremely positive significance. So, our time here today and at Northwood is coming to a close, and it's time for all of us to put 4 years of learning and growing into action. So let's go be leaders of free enterprise. That's a given, I'm sure. Let's go be significant, because we really don't have a choice in that matter. Let's go be humble, because humility brings life. And let's go be somebody. But a word of caution, being somebody is a pretty big task. When people see a problem, what do they say? They say, oh, somebody should do something about that. Somebody should fix that. Let's be that somebody. Congratulations, everyone. We rock.